Hey everybody, welcome to another season of Sama, Sales Circuit Music and Art. I'm Darek Mazzone, and thanks for being here. It's 2021. This is our first session of the new year. It is a intriguing beginning here. It is January 2021, and if you've been following the news, lots of transformational energy is going on in our fair country of the United States. And we're learning always through these hard times and challenging times. And that learning process can be very cathartic. And that catharsis, I find, is helped if you have a sense of tradition, if you're learning from your history, and if you're learning from other cultures. You know, we are, as a species, have been on this sphere for a long time. And every generation kind of feels like it's the experience that they're having is the only one that really matters. But there are a lot of different cultures. There are a lot of different stories and a lot of different representations of people going through life. And the reason I'm lecturing you about this right now is that the next band, Maniucha Ksawery, who are from Poland, create music as a way to present that. They focus their music on a particular part of Poland and Ukraine, on this, I don't want to say dying culture, but maybe like a transitioning culture that presents art in a way to help deal with difficult times with the harvest. Maybe there's an invasion. Maybe there is a just a bad run of weather. There's a relationship to nature with this music, and it is village music. So sometimes in that setting, it can be thought of as just like, oh, that's just for the village, or these musicians are just in that small space. Let's just keep it like that. These artists are actually taking this music and interpreting it and presenting it for the world right now, which I find incredible and powerful to behold. So, welcome to Sama, Maniucha and Ksawery. Thanks for being here.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi everyone.
Let's
Thanks
raise
for
a glass.
coming.
Happy New Year. We're in it. You're our first
Happy New
ones.
Year.
Yay.
Yay. Tell me a little bit about how you got into this. There's a lot of different music to play. You're both musicians, and it's a let's say it's a flexible expression. You could do a whole bunch of stuff. You can create your own work. How did you guys go into this particular set of Ukrainian, was it Ukrainian Polonais music, and how did this come about? Somebody take a turn.
Oh my God. I
This is a
think
big
I think
question.
it's a big question because we both came from different uh, worlds. I think I mean musical worlds, genres. I don't know how to describe, but I I came from improvised jazz experimental music,
Hmm.
and before we met, I had no experience with folk and traditional music. So Maniucha is my personal way, my personal portal uh, to the traditional music, and that's how I started. So we met, but we uh, before we started to play, I think we both felt something, some musical chemistry,
Okay.
and so this is my impression of this great meeting with Manu.
Okay. Okay. So, when you had tell me a little bit of what got you into this thing, and then I want to actually play the track so people who are watching right now, like, what is this music? Tell me a bit.
So I always loved to sing. Um, Actually, whatever. With in music school, with the chorus, it could be the church music, it could be the really, really, whatever. I just loved to sing. With the vinyl that my grandparents had, with the tapes that we had in the car. And once I just met people who sang the traditional music in a traditional way with this very powerful voice and very and no face. I mean, no special expression and really powerful for voice. And I really felt that I would do everything to try to sing in this way. I was maybe 7 or 8 at the time, but from this moment I started to follow these people, and the people, then I knew that they learned this music from musicologists, then the musicologists from the village people. So step by step, I started to go to workshops, summer camps of traditional singing, and then to villages.
Okay, perfect. So it's a journey, and here you guys now coming together. Okay, I want to know more, but let's play. This is from the city of Poznan. This is a festival called Ethno Poznan. I want to thank everybody for offering this footage to us, and hopefully next year, maybe the year after, we'll all meet there again. This is Syna, mother and son, recorded it in the city of Poznan in Poland at Ethno Poznan. Let's see.
Maty syna дай породила, місяцом й обгородив, а зорою подпаразала, в доріженьку віпроважав. Ю дорогу кременистою, по дівчину хонористой. Їди, сину, в далеку дорогу, ой, по щастя, по добру доль. Да не роби ночлів на дорозі, осінняя нічка темна, нам доріженька треб. Зблудимо, да не втрапимо, згубимо, да не найдем. Да найдуть її люди, да не наша я буду. Ой, пойду я понад лискою, Йоптечуся короліською, йоптечуся короліською, йоптечуся короліською, кому буду за невісткою, чи старому, чи малому, чи старому, чи малому, чи парубку дай молодому.
That's beautiful. And it works. It really, it's this minimalism of the bass and the bow just really works in that kind of setting. So it's powerful. When I first got a chance to hear it, I was like, okay, this is really interesting, and how it's evolving. But it's intriguing also in a context of the history of the country, because the first time I heard folk music from Poland done by the generation post-communism, it was with the Warsaw Village Band. And, I interviewed them, and they were talking about, this is ages ago, they were talking about how this was the music that the government put forth as a counter to the corrupt jazz music or Western music or anything like that. And so right after the wall fell, the whole generation was just like, I don't want to hear this stuff. That's what they were just forcing down my throat. I want to rock out. I want to disco and funk or whatever. And then there is like a sense of discovery. It's like, wait a second. This next generation came and was like, wait a second. There's something interesting here. And for you two to actually put this together as a new offering, it's reacting well. Like everybody that I played it for, whether I'm playing it for KXP or I'm like talking about it now or just playing in general, is like, there's something really interesting here. And I'm not just going like, oh, you guys are beautiful, I love you, but it's a really interesting new thing. Did you guys realize this was happening when you started playing, or like tell me about like, well, because if people start bands, they're like, okay, we're doing something here, but what made this sticky? Where you go like, no, I'm going to spend time on this thing. What was that story?
It's a spiritual thing.
Okay. All right. Tell me about it. This is sacred music.
I must say that for years that I've been learning the traditional techniques of Ukraine, Russian, Lithuanian, Eastern Poland, village music. It was so unfashionable, as also because in Poland people tend to think that all what's cool is rather west than east. And very few people really learn or understand Russian, Ukrainian, also because it's the music of peasants. And in Polish tradition, peasants are seen as the lowest caste, class. And so doing traditional music is from East especially, it was really something no cool when I was starting that.
Yes, and let me interrupt. And let's say communism destroyed real traditional Polish music. Yes, we have to say this.
How did they
Communism
destroy it?
destroyed.
Was it through
Maybe
collectivization,
Maniucha can
or
explain.
It's rather that they used traditional music to make a certain. They would change and mix the traditional music. They would rewrite it for big choruses, for dance ensembles, and they would make a great show with the traditional music, mixing all the elements and making a Soviet product out of it.
got it?
And
Okay.
after some times, nobody really knew what the traditional music really is, because people would knew only this Soviet kind of picture of that.
Yes,
Okay.
fusion.
Okay.
Mm,
Like, okay, so it is collectivization. Everybody's coming together, and all the nuances between them get lost.
mhm.
What are the songs about? What are the messages in these songs, and why have these songs survived for so long that they're now being absorbed and shared by you, who have not lived in villages, have not come from this? What is the essence of the music that makes it last?
The songs are about life. It's often about woman's life, about feelings, emotions. For example, the emotion when the last song that you heard, when you give birth to a child and suddenly the boy is ready to go to the world and you have to say bye to him and he should look for his own fate. So these are very universal situations of missing something, of some sorrow, of missing your father, for example. The other song is that it's a wedding day,
Mm-hmm.
and father, wake up from your grave, because the orchestra is already playing on the wedding of your daughter.
Oh,
So the father says, "Oh, I really wish I could, but I'm already, my eyes are closed and forever, and let, like, your sisters and brothers will help you, and the God will help you. Let be blessed by God." So lot of something with loneliness, with just
the human condition, coping. Okay. Okay. Stuff that's powerful for now, as you know, as the world is going through, going through the pandemic, and the thing that I also found about this music is like it's definitely loneliness and going through that, but also you have spring, you have weddings, you have feasts. You know,
Sure.
it's also showing the complexity of this, and it feels like, as I've been doing Sama now since March. You know, where like this is our 81st stream, which is exciting. Well, no, sorry, 31st stream. This is an opportunity to share this with people that don't have to be in villages, don't have to understand about that particular world. That we're all, you know, we're all in this together, and we're all trying to get to the next level of learning and of hope. Can we hear another song? You guys, we're gonna do something live, so let's have it if we can.
Okay, sure. So should I start with the
Yeah.
song?
Yeah, please.
So that's gonna be a Christmas carol from Eastern Polish village, and the girl is saying to little Christ what she gonna cook for him. She's going to cook Italian pasta. She's going to cook polenta and scrambled egg and all these things that would make him happy. Ja też witam swego Pana, Króla królów i hetmana. Czysty żywot stąpił z nieba, wszak odkupu było trzeba. We stajni mroźnej mieszkanie sobieś obrał wieczny Panie. Przykre wiatry na cię wieją, wół i osioł parą grzeją. Pójdę ja służyć do Pana, będę bydłu służyć z rana. Będę żłóbku pilnowała, bym jego sługą została. Będę kaszkę z mleczkiem ważyć, będę jajeczniczkę smażyć. Perłowych krupek utaję, zgotuję na miętko jaje. Do makaronu włoskiego dodam masła żółciutkiego. W rynce usmażę kaszeczki, będą pyszne potraweczki. Jeśli apetyt dopodzi, wszak rozumiem, że dogodzi. Perłowych krupek utaję, zgotuję na miętko jaje.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay, so Maniucha Ksawery on Sama, first one of the year. You talked about Lithuanians. You talked about Ukrainians. You talk about these parts of the world that we in the West, and most people think about as tied to the borders that our geopolitical machinations have created right now. But if you dig a little deeper, you realize that these groups of people, their religions, their languages, their traditions were villages spread throughout. I mean, they definitely like, here's Lithuania, here's Ukraine, here are these people, but the borders have moved, and certain, large groups of people were living in what is now a different country. When I started digging in a little deeper, it was said that these cultures are dying out or evolving. Speak to that, if you can, a little bit, so people know more what we're addressing here.
So, actually, I've been traveling for more than 10 years through the villages, mainly Ukrainian Polissya villages. And actually, these are only the oldest dwellers of the villages that know the songs from their lives. So it's not that easy to. You should you really have to look for the songs, going knocking from door to door, and this is something that it's really about the past. So it's not something that the villagers would be proud today about.
Really? Why? Because of the same legacy? Or like, why would they not be proud of it?
I think that young people, they want to go to the cities, and they feel that the city is something interesting, and just few old ladies who sing songs. I think that we artists, or we people who love this music, we have to show that it is some treasure, because in the villages people don't really recognize that as something.
Okay. Is
As
it
a
a
treasure.
They're very humble, very humble.
Mhm.
what? Ksawery, once again, I'm sorry, we couldn't hear you.
Yes, I think they are very, very humble people.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a correct word, but they are not artists, so they have no idea how this music can affect people.
Got it.
Because it's
So
a
they're
daily. It's a daily music.
Yeah, it's a kind of singing that you use as a daily practice, as Ksawery say. I think that's something really important to understand, that singing would make things happen, like make some special moments of the wedding, of the harvest, of the rain. The song would make the spring come.
Yes.
These were really important songs to maintain the community, but it used to be.
okay. Is it a race? Are you trying to, when you say that they're dying out, everybody's like, oh my God, a white rhino, what's going on here? Is there are there others, not just you, who are trying to preserve this? And we had this conversation before where it's like, okay, these are old ladies in the village and they're the ones that are singing this thing. Can this be moved and still hold that energy, that I don't want to say shamanistic, but that I'll call it shamanistic. That can you actually preserve it and take it out of the village, and turn it into something that can be used by anybody anywhere to help them?
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, no. But I don't know what is your opinion, Manu.
Well, I feel that's what I do in a way. So I heard the songs and it moved me so much that I'm doing my best to give as much spirit and power of the songs to the other people as I was given in the villages. Of course, it has nothing to do with the old traditions when the songs were
That's what I
part of the life. It's a different context, but I feel that this something that they have inside is very powerful and universal.
Okay. That's both.
Yes, I agree. Yes, of course, I agree.
Okay.
I was thinking about saving this music, but of course in a different context, in a different environment, etc., etc.
Yeah. These are hard questions, because you can't preserve. You can't just go like it must stay the way it is.
Museum, like
Music. Exactly. So, but this is music. This is art. This is something that isn't static. I mean, you're a jazz improviser, Ksawery. It's like, your interpretation. I mean, it's improvisational music, and improvisational music has been with us. That's music. It's like, you're not but that trajectory and this trajectory coming together and creating this thing is a example. To me, that's what resonated for me, because I have a background in all types of music, as a DJ and as a presenter, but it works. Like, it's these two worlds that you think don't really circle the same sun are actually circling the same sun and creating something new. I want to know more about how you got into this music, Ksawery, but I would love to hear you two performing live together on Sama. Seattle Sacred Music and Art 2021. Go ahead.
I need 1 minute to change my position.
And so at that time, we're gonna go solo, and just we're gonna take you out of the screen while you change your position. So and now, Maniucha, can you show me the CD, because there's a lot of work that
Oh,
went in there,
sure.
please. So this is your record, which is Oi
Yeah,
Borom Borom, which is translated as
exactly.
what? What is Oi Borom Borom?
Through the forest.
Through the forest, and also there's a lot of great pictures, but this is available on Bandcamp right now. You can actually get this. That's a beautiful picture.
And these are the women that I learned the songs from. And there are a lot of... I
English and
invited
Polish.
English, Polish, and Ukrainian.
Okay.
And I invited my friend who's a painter to also to paint for this book. We made a crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Because I
Taking
really
ancient.
wanted the CD to contain the pictures, of the village and the images of
Perfect.
some art in it.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll put a link to Bandcamp for it. There you guys are.
Yeah.
This is beautiful work. I love that picture of what you're doing with it. So you have that. What's your? I mean, you've been doing this for a while, so I'm curious. You're a mom now. I love that picture. Another pose now when you're in. It's 2 years ago, 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
What and you have a ton of books behind you, and there's a history of research into this part of the world, and I'm curious, what would you like to see happen? Like when you and I are having a conversation in 2 years, what would you like to see have happened outside of the pandemic being gone and the world being a better place and all that? But with this music, what would you like to see have happened with this in a couple of years?
You mean with the songs?
Yeah, with your work in this space, because it's not like you're going on just like writing songs and going out there. You've taken on quite an interesting path in your life where you're creating new and old at the same time and preserving. There's a lot of stuff there.
Well, one thing is we had a concert in Ukraine a month ago.
Oh, wow.
I think. And it was our first show in Ukraine. And it was really moving because for Ukrainians it was something so important and unbelievable that a girl, a young woman from Poland, so from European Union for them, is interested in their heritage, and she does it in that I see something important in their culture, and that I speak their language. It's really special because in Poland there are a lot of Ukrainians that lately come to work. So I'm always the one who speak their language, who is interested in the heritage of this group that are here workers. So I really wish to travel more around Ukraine and Belarus to show the project and to show them the value of their culture and to show them the interests, my interests to their...
And ours, we're here talking about it to everybody in the world. So this is, it's hopefully it will resonate. Ksawery is here. Let's see. Let's bring him back in and see. Hey, all right. We got the bass. We got the look. Let's see. Maniucha Ksawery live, literally, on Sama, Sacred Music and Art. Which song are we going to do?
I show you the song Chumak.
Chumak, which translates as what?
Chumak. Itinerant salt peddler.
Okay.
A historic occupation on the territory of the modern Ukraine as merchants or traders, primarily known for the trade in salt.
Perfect. My God.
It was my dad who made the translations for me, and he died.
I'm sorry.
But it was a very important work that we did together, translating and preparing the CD.
Your story is amazing. Thank you for sharing it. Maniucha Ksawery, and the song is called Chumak, story about a somebody who would go to the villages and bring you things and you would sell them.
Yeah, and the guy from the song, he gets ill and it's very far away from his home. And luckily, his oxes know the way home, so they can bring his body to
Be buried.
his beloved
Land.
Yeah.
These are timeless stories. Thank you for sharing.
Ой, ходив чумак, сім літ покремо, ой, не було пригодоньки ніколи кому. Стала пригода серед города, та не дуже чумаченько, Нюка видай лежить. Поюкав чумак, потом лежить, і хто його не спитає, що в його болить. Ой, прийшов до його товариш його, взяв його за рученьку, питає його. Товариш одно, на що же болить мене спина, болить голова, рідна моя коліна, чужа же сторона. Моя голівонька, корона, тобою мама, тільки жінка маки йдуть, я побережу. Вони
It is beautiful, haunting, kind of perfect for the time. How is this received in your home in Poland? How is this music? How is this? Um, do you get support? You know, we talked about you guys playing in Ukraine for the first time and how, um, you know, how emotional that was in this language. But how is this music right now being received in Poland?
I think that reception is great. We did a lot of shows. People are very kind and they feel this music because it's not about the knowledge, but it's about a spiritual connection to this music. So I think that people loves this music a lot.
Mm.
Yes,
I must
think
say
yeah.
that I just love to play with Ksawery because I'm always listening to what he's playing, and it's always something different, and I'm really waiting for his answer to what I just sang. So each time it's a very flexible and living factor.
Okay. You're not repeating. It's new each time. I take it.
Yeah, in a way we're repeating because these are fixed songs, but the part of Ksawery is always new, and it's very intimate.
Intimate, yeah.
And I think that we gives it on our shows. Some special atmosphere just come from the songs, and a lot of people come after the shows and ask questions or just tell their own stories or tell about something that really moved them. A lot of people said that something made them cry or just moved them. So
yeah. It has that effect, and it's super interesting from a I don't want to say historical exactly, but Poland is part of the EU. It's going through these transitions. We're all, you know, the country is evolving, the world is evolving. But this particular touchstone to the village, to the past, to the reality, I think really helps. And in light of the political and social turmoil that is happening. I think in the West in general, we're definitely going through here in the United States, but in different parts of the world where there's like this big transition that's happening. Some of these songs I think can help people because it can create a like kind of a unified understanding that we're all kind of the same. And
Sure.
even though this is village music and these people are living in the cities and they travel, Ukrainians are in Poland right now working, Poles are in Ireland, England working. Like it's about connecting with each other as like we're all on this sphere living together. What can we
Yes,
learn?
yes.
Okay, so
Also, I really feel that music is this ground where uh, it doesn't matter if you are leftist or rightist. And nowadays, in Poland, but in many countries, I think
mhm.
that society became more and more divided. So this, I feel very privileged and in special positions that I can uh, play and be with people who not necessarily uh, think the same with the politics, but because we play together, we can just share on different layers than
Yeah,
only
Yes,
yeah.
that's
because politics sucks. Yes.
Yes,
well
politics are complicated. I don't want. I mean, but that's a
I-
complicated word right now in the United States because there's a lot of pressure. And the same in Poland. You've had huge marches just happening in Warsaw, but it's like, and we were talking about this. If you disagree with somebody or disagree with you from a political perspective, you telling them that they're wrong isn't going to change their minds. It's just not going to work.
sure.
But if you
we live,
present,
yeah.
but if you present
So
beauty,
yes.
I'd love to hear. I mean, it's like but if you present beauty, if you present music, if you present something that opens up their heart, then then you can have a conversation. You can actually start something. And I think all this is, for me, in doing this in general, and working with artists, is like if you can have just the beginning of a conversation, where it's not just like blah 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 at each other, you
Hmm.
might make a difference. And all
Dialogue.
three dialogue exactly, and all three of us as parents, that's a change. It's like suddenly it's not about you anymore. It's like, okay, what am I going to leave my kids in the future? This conversation is going in a different direction altogether. But hence the magic of the internet. Ksawery, I want to know a little bit about how you got to where you are right now, because you're an improviser working in jazz, now working in folk. You've got an interesting history. How did you come to, you know, creating this music with Maniucha? What's your story?
The reason, I think the reason is very, very simple because, to be honest, staying in the same position as a musician for me it's so boring. Um, so I would like to explore a lot of different uh, different. I don't want to say
Genres.
genres. No, I don't like this word, but I mean worlds, because in my opinion, the music is it's a one world actually. We divided music somehow. I don't know why, because probably we need to name things, but
It's the money.
it is only one music. It's a good music. So so I don't want to stay in a one position as a musician. Uh, I'm looking for something new, something fresh. So playing music, especially playing music, jazz music, improvised music, uh, it's a basic thing to not staying in a one position. I mean, you explore all the time. You
Yeah.
you take a risk all the time. So playing with Maniucha, it is great adventure. Is it I don't know, is it the correct word?
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Your journey.
So in the beginning, it was. I have to be honest, and frankly, in the beginning, when we started to work on this particular material, it was so tough to me to get through this music, to understand what is going on here and how to play enough to be present, but not too much to destroy this beauty of this music, because originally this music is a cappella. So what am I doing here? This is my first question. What am I doing here? Trying to get between the notes and create something new, because my knowledge about this music and traditional music in general was zero. So it was my first experience with this kind of music, and I must say it was tough in the beginning. And so I have no idea how we get to this point properly.
And I was so deeply fried in the village oil. I mean, for years I've been listening on headphones, the old ladies singing all the time, and I knew all the songs by heart, and I knew all the texture of each voice of each singer from each village, and the way how they build the melody, how they make the little things around it. And I started to play with Ksawery, but actually at the beginning I was still having in my head and in my ears the old ladies, and I was more with them than with Ksawery. Maybe that's why it was so hard for you. So I also had to make this step to Ksawery, and to understand that the songs have to be changed a little bit, the tempo, the little different things, because I'm not singing anymore with the ladies. I'm not singing anymore with my friends, with the girls with whom I sing the songs exactly as we heard it in the village, but I'm playing here and now with Ksawery.
Okay. So it's been an evolution for both of you in this whole process. Fascinating.
Yes.
And we started in the basement where Ksawery used to live in, and the basement had a window, and through the window you could go to the garden. And the first concert that we did, we just climbed out of the window to the garden, and we invited all the neighbors. They brought the something to drink, some food, and we had this little concert in the yard for neighbors.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It was great beginning. It was beautiful. Yes.
And this is when? When did that happen?
2014.
Okay. So you guys been doing this for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 6 years. Okay. So this is beautiful. I want to thank Joanna for bringing us together, and I look forward to hearing and seeing more. Do we have one more song? You brought your violin out with the two strings.
Yes, but I'm too scared to play
Let's
this
try.
instrument.
Oh, come on, it's a pandemic. It's like what, any act
I
of
have
beauty should be
nothing to
celebrated.
lose. Okay.
Nothing, you have nothing at all to lose. Not at all to lose. So I'm curious, while Ksawery is putting everything back together, you just sit, you just show up, Maniucha, and just start open your mouth and start singing. You don't have to really work hard at all of these tools and everything, make it together.
Can I just add one thing to
Mhm.
what we've been talking before about this politics and looking for the beauty? So today I'm in the flat of my mom, and she's a writer. She writes about Polish Jewish relationships during the war and just after the war. And these are stories full of harm and pity and uh,
They're
actually,
heartbreaking.
yes, and all these bad stories happened in the villages of eastern Poland. And I have this feeling that some deeply inside me, my journey to the village and to looking for this treasure in the village, for this what's for the beauty there, is also my way to deal with the big history and the history of harm that neighbors would do to neighbors,
Mhm.
and to, in a way, make this
Transmutated.
abracadabra and to see the other side
Yeah,
of,
yeah, yeah, yeah. We
yeah,
call
the
it
things.
alchemy, when you take it and you turn it into
Mhm,
something that is actually helping and growing. And I think,
mhm,
that is the power of music, because telling somebody about this, I mean, in all respect to your mother, and documenting the story is powerful, but to go to the next step, whatever that step may be, it's
mhm,
artists. It's creating the work that opens up people's hearts, and then they can actually um, heal and move on. We're dealing with that right now on a global level, in the West especially, where there's one generation or one group of people that they thought they had something, or they were promised something, and then they
mhm,
realized that they're not promised that. And we started this conversation about peasants and class and the city,
mhm,
and nobody wants to feel that they're less than their neighbors, and they're going to make choices, and they're going to react out of anger and fear and frustration, and we're seeing that in the ballot box in multiple countries. um, and telling them that they're wrong is a difficult conversation, but if we can all kind of like come together through this music, through this offering, then there's hope for our kids. God, it sounds like a politician. I'm sorry about that, but it really, it is the thing. It's like, okay, we're going to have to do this to get there, wherever that there is. But we can't just be stuck,
yeah.
because that's death. But if we're going to go, and it's artists such as yourselves that are going to help do that. So good work. It's big work. It's not little work. It's like, but thank you
Mhm.
for doing it. Dziękuję bardzo. Let's bring,
It's bigger.
yeah.
It's bigger
Woo.
than us. Absolutely.
Well, it's got to start somewhere, and that's the magic. That's the thing that I'm trying to tell my daughters, and they're also trying to tell me. It's just like a small step. It's a bunch of small steps. Anytime you try to do something big, then you create disaster. Communism. It's like a beautiful dream,
Yeah.
but if you try to adopt it everybody, then it's like what we just said. You just screw up 1,000-year-old traditions of music. It's like this doesn't work. Okay, let's start with your first instrument, Ksawery.
Ah, okay.
Just you.
Oh my God. I feel so naked.
All right, beautiful. Dziękuję bardzo. You two, thank you for sharing your work. That was really, really beautiful and so touching. Happy New Year. I look forward to, as I said before, Sama is a concert, and we started with the idea of having artists such as yourselves come to Seattle and share your work. Now we're streaming, which is wonderful and beautiful in its own right. But the idea is for you to come back here, so to be actually filmed, have this conversation with an audience, share this work. And so I'm grateful to take your time right now in the evening and in Poland, in Warszawa and Konin. And this is just the beginning. So once again, Happy New Year. Thank you. We have a link to your Bandcamp. I want to thank Joanna. I want to thank STG and Live, everybody else that we're working with. We have a great year planned. One day we'll have concerts. Hoping we have.
Looking forward.
We're going to try. But right now, weekly, we're doing this. Next week we have a Northwest folktronic band called Yaima. They're on Orcas and Vashon Island. Then we have Zadasha Ensemble out of Georgia, the country of Georgia, obviously. And then we have an Ethiopian experience. Then we have Leku Musique from Haiti. We have Garifuna Collective a little later on from Belize. We have a great year. And we're going to be digging deeper into Ukraine, Poland, Lithuania, Belarus, and others as we all work together to try to make a better world, if we can. Thank you.
Stay
Be
in
well.
touch.
Thank you, Dagmara,
Thanks a lot.
April, and Vinita, and everybody else. And look for more. Sama, Seattle Circuit, music and art. Be well. Peace, love.